I mean, look, he's one of the founding fathers of heavy music, Geezer Butler. And get this book when it's out a week from Friday. It is an incredible read. And I encourage everybody to check it out.
Awesome.
And speaking of geezers, we have a fine geezer waiting backstage for us to bring him in. So you want to give him a proper introduction, Mr. Trunk?
Yeah, well, we're excited. This guy's actually right up the street from me too right now. He could have actually come here and we could have done like a split camera deal, but he'll be doing my radio show tomorrow, so he'll have enough of me after the next couple of days. But we are super excited to welcome to the show an old friend of all of ours, and you know him best as the singer in Slipknot, as well as a couple of great solo albums, including a new one coming out soon. And of course, you know him from his work in Stone Sour. He's now an actor doing some acting stuff. A lot to talk to this guy about. Corey Taylor joins us live right now on That Rocks. Look at him. There he is.
Who the hell are you calling a geezer, by the way?
Jameson said that.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. He's only one of all of us who's got the visible grays, by the way. And I'm not just talking about you.
Hey, you're almost 50. You're going to join the club soon, my friend.
Dude, oh, man, this year is December 8th is my 50th birthday, man. Like it's I'm kind of tripping, but not really, because I've felt 50 for the last 25.
Corey, that mohawk or that hair is rocking, man. That's very impressive.
I tell you what, there's very little product in it right now. It's just sheer will and prayer. Just keep it up. And I just, want to thank whatever the hell's up there that it's still got the bouffant. So how are you guys doing, man? I haven't seen you guys in like forever.
I know, man. It's been a long time. You've had the mohawk before. You had the long hair. You've had the crew cut. You've had all, you know.
I brought it back because I was my wife really likes my undercut when I shave it here and I comb it back. But there's only so much you can do with that, So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go for a violent chicken look, And
That's right.
Really, get really weird with it, and it's. I mean, so far I'm pulling it off. I also just redid my the End So Far mask. I cut a hole in it so I can stick the hair out of the top of it.
I was going to ask you about that because we've talked about that before, and I just saw the Slipknot schedule. You guys have a ton of stuff coming up in Europe very, very soon. But yeah, in some of these places, there's intense heat and stuff. I would think you'd want that thing is cut as close as possible, especially if you got to put a mask over.
You know what? It's not even my head that sweats the most, dude. It's the layers, the sheer layers of all the crap that we have to wear to look cool and Slipknot now. I've got the blazer, which is super thick. I've got the shirt, which just does not breathe. And the only thing that really allows me to breathe are my jeans, and they're tight enough. You can tell what my religion is. And it's just, at this point, I can't get enough water on my body. I look like I'm trying to take a shower at some points. But I tell you what, it keeps me svelte. I mean, I stay, relatively, I can eat like crap and I get on stage and I don't look like a total piece of garbage,
How many songs in are you sweating like a maniac? Like 2 songs, 2?
It's from the jump because we've also got the lights. We've got the pyro. It's naturally hot out there. We have 12 layers on like psychos from the 1950s. Yeah. I mean, you'd think we would hate what we do at this point where it's like self-flagellation, man. But I mean, you don't really process it until about the 3rd song. And that's when you go, oh God, I can't breathe. My starting to sweat. Like it gets gnarly, dude.
Did you ever drop, Corey? Did you ever go down at a show, like dehydrate and collapse?
Yeah, I've gone down a couple times. There was one, and God bless the fans. I mean, there's plenty of footage of it too, which is awesome. I can't I love watching that crap. But there was one in Dallas, and it was probably one of the hottest shows we ever did. I blacked out about halfway through the show, and I want to say this was like 2012. I just remember we were wearing red coveralls. I think it was the Mayhem that we did after Paul passed away. So I remember we were wearing the red coveralls. I had my All Was Gone mask on, but it was so stiflingly hot. It's that amphitheater just outside Dallas where we always play in Grand Prairie. And it's shaped like a bowl, so it keeps all the heat in. So the heat couldn't escape. So we had all the pyro. It's Texas hot. I've got this crap on. And I just slowly kissed myself goodbye. I'm gone. Like I don't even remember finishing the show. All I remember is waking up backstage and I had oxygen on. Like they had pulled my mask off. They had an IV in me. And when you see the video, I mean, I pretty much did the last half of the show bent over. Like I couldn't even focus on what was going on. And then I took 2 steps off of my check me out box and collapsed. Boom. And like all of these people came running out of the wings to pick me up. You'd think I'd been shot. I mean, it was scary, dude. I mean, from that second on, regardless of heat or whatever, I've always tried to manage to stay hydrated and like healthy and all that crap. Cause I don't want to die. It's just stupid.
Corey, do you ever weigh yourself before a concert and then after to see how much weight you lose during a show?
I haven't done that, but there've been a handful of times where I've forgotten to take my Fitbit off like a dad, and I've checked my steps, and dude, I'm crushing 25,000 steps. It's insane, dude. Like I'm like all over the place, and I look down and I'm like, oh my God, it's stupid.
Hey, Corey, we want to talk about your solo record here in a second, but before you came on with us, being that we were having you on, we all did our top 6 favorite or best theatrical bands like of all time. And all 3 of us had Slipknot on our lists. But who for you do you feel is like the gauntlet when it comes to laying the groundwork for theatrics?
Oh, dude. I mean, you have to start with Coop. I mean, to me, Alice was so groundbreaking because his songs didn't necessarily match the show at times, like it wasn't until later that he leaned into, kind of lining with Welcome to My Nightmare and all that stuff. Before they were just a rock band that just crushed, and he would come out and he would do the whole thing. I guess I would say Cooper, Kiss, King Diamond, I'd put Crew on there, at least for the first couple of years. And then I would probably say, and I'm going to count them, I would say Maiden, just because every album, there was a theme live, and they would and Bruce loves a prop, man. So he'll run backstage. He grabbed the big ass flags. He's coming out, One of the coolest things I ever saw was the stage for the Somewhere in Time tour. And you were just blown away. I mean, it took you into that album, man. So I would say those would probably be my top 5. And then as far as like the 6th goes, I would go, oh man.
What about
when you said Ghost, I thought you said Ghost, the band Ghost.
Oh, no, I mean, they're okay.
What about Rammstein?
Rammstein's good. Yeah. I mean, to me, that's just fire with a soundtrack going on. Theirs is so crazy, dude. Like times I've looked at Till and I'm going, are you making anything on these?
I know.
You have basically you're paying for BPs over and under at this point. It's ridiculous, man. But yeah, I guess Rammstein would be rad. I mean, I would put Mudvayne up there as well, especially back in the day. Touring with them, we made such a great kind of 1-2 punch back then. It's sad we don't remember most of it, but I mean, it was, they were just, the great thing about Mudvayne was they had a great look, but musically, man, not a lot of people could touch them. I mean, they were so much more technical than people even really give them credit for. And Chad's voice at the time was so strong. So yeah, I would say that'd be my top 6.
Okay.
And they're back doing stuff again now. So they're doing some shows here and there. So, all right. So CMFT2, man, single and video out already. I love what you're doing with this band. I know that here in Vegas, you just recorded the record not too long ago. And I know you're super stoked about this. Tell us about the new record.
It's, I mean, I tell you, man, it's probably one of the best things I've ever done, for real. It's, to me, the album is much more mature. It's more focused. It's darker. The songs are stronger. The production is out of control. Performance wise, I mean, everybody in the band is crushing it on this album. It's got little hints of everything that I've kind of done in my career. So there's hints of Slipknot in there. There's hints of Stone Sour. There's hints of the first album, obviously. But then there's hints of like just all the bands that I've loved over the years, you know. And there's a great acoustic track that I wrote. It was actually the last song I wrote for the album that is very barren and kind of open. Like I hadn't done a song like that in a long time. And to me, it's just so well-rounded. And it's whereas the first album was kind of where I was coming from, because it was really a collection of songs that I'd written over the years that had no home. This album is where we're going. This album is like, okay, I've seen that these songs can live with a lot of the stuff that I do live, which, because I do Slipknot and Stone Sour, you know, together live with this thing. And people really dug that. They loved the fact that it could all kind of commingle and coexist. So I kind of leaned into that when it came to the writing on this, man. I just went, you know what? We're going to pummel people. We're going to get songs stuck in their heads. And I just found out today, Beyond is the first single is 3 weeks in a row, #1 most added at radio, which is rad, man. I mean, we're beating some heavy hitters. So that means the song is really taking off with people, which is rad because it's one of my favorites that I ever wrote.
Congrats, man. And the video is really cool too. Where did you do that? It's like a apocalyptic sort of look.
Yeah, it's okay. You guys, for 20 years, I've been driving past the old abandoned water park at Lake Dolores between LA and Vegas. And I would always drive by and I go, that place is so messed up looking that someday I'm going to do a video out there, man. And when I was sitting in a meeting with BMG, my new label, and I told them that I wanted to do a video out there, they all sat up and they were like, wait, what is this place? And I shot them a link to this YouTube video about that place and like how long it had been abandoned and what it looked like. And they immediately signed up. They were like, rad, let's do it. And I mean, that's one of the biggest reasons why I went with BMG. And we'll talk more about that in a second. But there was no sense of the word no in there. They were like, okay, let's make it work. Let's make it happen. And lo and behold, man, like a handful of months later, I'm standing there. I'm surrounded by like, there's 500 fans out there. I mean, this is out in the middle of nowhere, dude. This is 2 hours from 2 hours from Vegas, 2 hours from LA, dead right in the middle. And people were losing their minds. They're loving it. They're chewing on dust. My mohawk looked like it was made of dreads. There was so much crap and mud in it, dude, that I didn't even care. And we actually brought a whole PA system out there and we played a little mini show for them. Like it wasn't just playback. Like we played music for them. And they loved it. We told them, get your phones out. I don't care. Leak this damn thing. I want people to know about it. No more secrecy. No more lockdowns. No more putting your phone in a purse and sticking it backstage. I don't care. Get out. Like, make people know that you had a great time. And we had a great time, man. And you can see it. You can see it in the video.
What's involved in shooting it? I have this creepy fascination with abandoned anything. It's like it really freaks me out, but I still am fascinated. Like what's involved in getting clearance to go to a place like that? Like, what did you have to do?
We just asked the people who own the place, to be honest, man.
So people own it and just walked away from it, but they still own what's left of it.
Well, because they let people do tours of the place. The whole place is covered in graffiti. So they let people can pay and come out and do tags and stuff and like do like cool, rad artwork. And dude, you can walk around there. Like it's pretty open. Like there's only so much you can do without a camera crew, honestly. But yeah, I mean, they were stoked to have us out there. The only thing we had to bring out there was a couple of generators, and that was it, because there's no real power. There's power up the hill, but nothing like in the grounds. And once you get there, you see that, I mean, everything's kind of bombed out, and it looks like the opening scenes of like something on Investigation Discovery. Like, it's pretty dark out there, but then you're like, the shit is going on. But yeah, I mean, we had a blast, dude. It was rad.
Corey, you ever see a scenario where your solo band maybe could open up for Slipknot or be on the same bill?
Oh, are you trying to kill me?
He just said he collapsed.
Ozzy did that a couple of times with Sabbath on an Ozfest. Like
I could totally do it, but only if I had a day off before and a day off after, because I'd be smoked, dude. Because I mean, I'd have to do at least 45 minutes with CMFT, and then have to do an hour and a half with Slipknot. I mean, by that time, you know where to bury me on hour 4.
Corey, I've seen you backstage after a 2-hour Slipknot show doing acoustic set in a tent for people for another hour at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Drunk then, dude. All right. And I'm gonna be 50, for God's sake. Dude.
And I've never seen your voice off. I've always told you that. You've never had an off night with your voice. You never go, man, Corey didn't sound good tonight.
But that's the first thing you would be saying, Corey, if you do 2 back-to-back shows.
I know,
Corey kind of sucked in the second show. Corey, why he's not so good anymore?
He should have saved
He
himself.
set you up for the fall, Corey.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, well, I'll never go see him again. He only sang for 3.5 hours.
And one of the other interesting things I heard about the new album, Corey, is it's all generated by AI. Right? Did I read that wrong, or?
Yeah, no, come on. No, that's stupid.
Jay Rustin producing AI.
Yeah, right. Oh, could you imagine Jay trying to wrap his head? Like, he'd be ripping all that blonde hair out, and I'd be laughing my head off. It'd be great.
Yeah, Jay's the best.
The whole AI thing, dude. It's like, are we just trying to get taken over by aliens? Is that what we're aiming for? I mean, let's just, pardon my expression, let's just shit on everything great about this planet, you know, and just chuck it all in the dumpster, set it on fire, and let the computers come in and run us. I mean, why not?
Hey, when Elon Musk says it's time to put the brakes on, you know, we should maybe start thinking about putting the brakes on.
Yeah. And that guy doesn't care about anybody but himself.
He's shooting rockets, so he should, you know, he wants to put the brakes on. So
yeah, exactly.
So when's the record out, man?
September 15th is when it comes out. So it'll be right in the middle of our tour. We go out on tour August 25th, and we're out until Aftershock, which I think is October 7th. Yeah, man. Yeah, there it is. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be a massive tour, dude. It's gonna be one of the bigger ones that we've ever done. We've got Wargasm as our direct support. And then half of the shows will be a great band, Oxymorons, and then the other half will be Luna Aura. So I wanted to really kind of, you know, my set's kind of got a hybrid vibe to it anyway, because there's so many different like vibes and songs and styles to it, that I really wanted to make sure that it kind of had a bigger appeal and I also wanted to make sure that it was younger bands, you know, like I didn't want to bring out the usual suspects, because they're always going to have a gig, you know, when it comes to the younger generation. I want to make sure that they get a chance to come out, you know, because they're the next run. They're the ones who are going to keep this thing going. So it really made sense to kind of bring out some new blood with like an interesting texture that didn't sound like us as well.
Yeah, you know, that's a great. Go ahead, Don. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just in the vein of the young talent that's out there, and one of them happens to be your son, Griff.
Yeah,
who has got his own band too. You should give your son a plug there.
Oh, dude. Well, they just recorded another EP at Jonathan Davis's studio with Chris Collier, the producer, and dude, Griff played it for me, man, and it is, I mean, I was blown away. Like, it was so good. He's he's really coming into his own as a lyricist and a songwriter, like coming up with like melodies and whatnot. I was like, damn, that is really, I wish I'd have written that. You know, I mean, it was really, really stoked, dude. So I know they just got off the road actually yesterday. They're going to be over in Europe on some of the same festivals as us with Slipknot. So, you know, I'll get to run into him and hang out with him. But every time we're on the same show, dude, like I run to the side of the stage just so I can watch him, because, you know, it's just, as a dad, it's a massive moment for me, you know?
Corey, I was there that day when at the PNC Arts Center in Jersey when your son came out and sang song number 3 with you.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how old he was, but it was unbelievable. I still get chills from that.
I recorded that.
Oh, that's right. You poured that out. That's right. And my son was there, Luke, too. He couldn't believe it. I mean, it was a great moment.
Dude, and Griff was so nervous doing that too. But you couldn't tell.
No.
Like because he and I had really only gone like over that song twice acoustically. Like he didn't even jam it with the band, you know? And when he came out, dude, he grabbed that mic like it was born in his hand, which it really was, dude. Like I have pictures of him as a baby dragging around this little Casio keyboard that had a microphone attached to it. And he's got a diaper on, a binky in his mouth. He's holding the mic up like this. He looked like this weird Freddie Mercury, man. It was really, really funny. I was like, I should have drawn a mustache on him and he could have gone full We Will Rock You, you know? But he was born to do it. And I tried to sit him down and teach him guitar and teach him stuff. And he didn't want to hear about it at the time. But then once he got older, he found his way to it. So this was something I never pushed on him. I never tried to guide him or anything. Once he got into it, that's when he started asking me questions and stuff, and like asking for advice and everything. And it's rad, man. Like I can't tell you how stoked I am for him that he found his thing, because for a long time we didn't even know.
Yeah.
And the band's called Vended, right?
Yeah, it's Vended, but just mispronounced.
Vended. Hey, the last thing before we let you go from me, and then see if Don and Jim have anything. But I just, I got to tell you, I read an interview. I talked about this on my radio show when the latest Slipknot album came out, The End So Far, which stuff like Yen and things like that are like, that's among my favorite stuff I've heard Slipknot do. I love the video. If you haven't seen the director's cut of the video Yen, it's wild. And I love the song. But when that record came out, which is now, what is a year or so ago, whatever it is, there were obviously some Slipknot fans loved it and some Slipknot fans didn't like it. And I saw an interview where you were quoted. It might have been in Europe somewhere. And they asked you about it. And your response was pretty much like, to hell with you. You'll like what we give you. And I thought it was the greatest thing I ever, because you can't make everybody happy. And it was just like so blunt. And you're like, you know what? You'll like what we give you or don't like it. But that's it. You know, it was great.
Yeah. It's honestly, I've been saying it since day one, you know, like we've never been a band that tries to cater to the audience, you know? And I think that's one of the reasons why our fans have stuck with us for so long. You know, there's definitely been times where certain albums, there've been certain parts of the albums that people haven't liked, but for the most part, overall, they've really dug it. But we've been lucky in the fact that we were like, well, I mean, good, because that's what we were giving you. You know, like I don't know where you thought we were reading a Dropbox somewhere in front of the manager's office, but those get directly into the toilet. I don't want to have any misconceptions. We don't care. Like, you can go online and rage tweet and post and do all these stupid review videos that, you know, where people break down, this is where Slipknot went wrong. And it's like, that's all well and good. We've never seen one of those, you know, and we will never see one of those. When it comes to the music and the art, we do what we want, and we always have, you know. I mean, I've said it since day one. I make music for me, and then I share it with people. And that's it. I do not try to dial in a certain style. I mean, there's obviously styles that we want to play or we wouldn't have recorded it. But when it comes to expanding the boundaries, pushing the envelope, and just honestly expanding the palette that we're working with, why wouldn't we, man? You know, you want to spin your wheels in the mud, go ahead musically. We are going to do what comes from the heart. You know, there may be stuff that I don't necessarily, I wouldn't have written, but when I hear it, I go, oh, I can do something with that, you know? And that's the beauty of Slipknot, is that you never know what you're going to get, you know? And I think once people kind of got around to remembering that, they all shut the hell up. Let's put it there.
No, that was Corey. That was a big thing after Iowa. Iowa was so heavy, and then you guys come out with Volume 3, which is Rick Rubin produced, and it was a lot more slicker, and the Slipknot fans were mad. But meanwhile, to me, that album's a masterpiece. Coming up on 20 years next year, maybe do some kind of special anniversary with that. But you guys caught a lot of flack with that album, but that put you guys in arenas, that record.
And not only that, but, and I mean, there's a crazy story behind that, because I mean, we started out, we had to rebuild a lot of the bridges that our former management had burnt for us. So the beginning of the Volume 3 run, we couldn't pack clubs. I mean, we had to kind of dial everything back. We had to basically put all of our production in a warehouse because no one would touch us from a production standpoint. And we had to slowly rebuild everything from scratch. I mean, it was insane, dude. There were times when we looked at each other and we were like, what are we going to do? You know? And luckily that album really blew up for us. And, you know, kind of helped us establish where we were going to go musically. But I mean, at the time, dude, it was a crapshoot. I mean, there was no guarantee that we were going to be able to keep doing this.
Wow.
Yeah. Don, anything from you, or should we let him get out of here?
No, I just, you know, I guess I should make the statement here that everybody knows the story of me gassing out the Slipknot after party at Madison Square Garden. And I just want to say thank you again to Corey for still speaking to me after all these years since that happened. You're just effed up enough to think it was funny, and I appreciate your friendship.
No, it's why he's not with us in person and will only work with us virtually now.
There's a great story behind that, because I think it was, did Volume 3 go platinum? Was that what it is? Because you guys sold out the Garden the first time ever, and you were on stage that night with your platinum album. Maybe it was All Hope Is Gone, and it was
All Hope Is Gone. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so brings it out, our first platinum album, whatever it was, a big, huge night, and then Corey comes to the VIP after party, and Don farts, and Corey has to leave within like 3 minutes.
Oh, dude, the way, swear to God, like you could see my eyes bleed, and I was like, I gotta go. And I think the Mastodon guys were there too, and I think even they were just like, oh God, like it was brutal, dude.
I remember what you said. I'll never forget it. He goes, it smells like beer and shit in here. I got to get out of here. And you left.
And
never forget it.
It's why I only work with them virtually, Corey.
The next night, I had shit party.
Corey, it's why we don't sit next to each other on a set anymore. We've been offered 1 million shows on a set, but I decline every time because I can't be 5 feet away from these guys anymore.
Unless you guys did one show and you were both in like the gerbil bubbles.
Yeah, right.
You could bounce off of each other and be like, I'll tell you something. Then he could just sit in his own stink.
All right. Well, Corey, we're doing this versus that, and then we're ending, right?
Yeah. You got a couple minutes, Corey?
Yeah, of course, man.
All right, cool.
So we end the show by doing a segment called This Versus That, where we just pick our favorite thing between two things. In this case, 3 things. And I don't know if we have a fancy graphic for this or we're just going right into it. Okay, so.
No, wait, we have a graphic. Put the other graphic up.
Such a professional operation. There it is.
Oh, there it is.
Perfect. That was very dramatic. So the debate is your favorite way to take in music in 2023. Streaming? Are you a vinyl guy? or are you a CD guy still? Do you like physical, vinyl, or CD, or are you fine with just give it to me as a stream? We'll start with our guest, Corey. What's your preference?
I actually split time between vinyl and streaming now. I mean, I still have every CD that I ever bought. I just don't have a CD player anymore, and I can't find one. I rummage through vintage places and I can't find one, for God's sakes. But I do have a pretty decent record player, and I actually just got the vinyl pressing, the test pressing for CMF2. So, and it rocks. It sounds so good. So I like being able to listen to like to stream, because I feel like the audio's gotten a little better with it, but the warmth of vinyl, the warmth of analog, I still dig. And I'll still, when I'm at home and I'm chilling in my man area where I keep all my mess, I'll put on vinyl and I'll rock to that. I still have all my Zeppelin albums that I still listen to, and my first pressing of Nevermind the Bollocks, and I've got London Calling on vinyl. It sounds so good.
All right, I'll go next. Anybody that knows me knows where I land on this. I am a CD guy all the way. I will fight and defend the CD till the day I die. It's still, to me, the best physical format. The reason why it obliterated vinyl when it came out, all of those things still apply. And it's digital and it's physical, and you can do good things with the packaging, and you can rip it into your iTunes. You can do everything with it. It sounds as great the first time as you played it to the 9 millionth time. So I'm happy to report CD sales in the last 2 years, although marginally, have increased. So that comeback is just around the corner. Right. For quick convenience to just sample something streaming, I'll click on YouTube or Apple Music or whatever. But if it's a band I love and I want to continue building the collection, I'm always going for the CD. I personally, not on the vinyl kick, but I appreciate the vinyl kick because I grew up working in a record store, and I think the packaging obviously is the best and all that, but I am not at all on the vinyl kick. CD all the way.
All right. Well, the reason the CD obliterated the vinyl when it came out is because they phased the vinyl out. The vinyl was cheaper; it was $7.99 for an album. CDs came out; they started charging $14.98. The record company were a bunch of pigs, so they made every band put 15 songs on there to get your money's worth.
So Jim, what's happening now that they're charging $40 for vinyl and $5 for a CD? They want to swing you back the other way, right?
Okay, but they ruined it for the bands, because like the old, like Van Halen, Aerosmith, all that stuff was 10 or 11 great songs. They made the bands put 15 tracks on there so they could sell it for $14.95. So they raised it like $8, phased the albums out. You had no choice but to buy the CDs. I have a 2018 Honda Accord, doesn't even have a CD player in it. I'm going to go with streaming. That's what I listen to most.
Does it have a turntable in it? Can you put an album in your Accord?
No, I can't, but you'd think they would have a CD player in there. I still have all my CDs. I'll go with the streaming. That's what I listen to mostly, but I love vinyl. I have 2,000 albums, and I'll put on vinyl every once in a while, too. I don't think it's a pain in the ass to turn the record over after 4 songs. I get up and I walk around a lot. I'm not handicapped, so I got no problem.
I love when they're taking a record that's 30 minutes long and putting 2 songs on each side.
It's not 2. There's not 4 songs on an album.
And go to Barnes & Noble, pay $60 for it until the next version comes out, and then they'll tell you the CD is better, Eddie, so that you get rid of all your vinyl and you rebuy your CDs.
Eddie, I saw you do an hour on the treadmill. You can't walk over and flip the album over. You just did an hour on the treadmill.
Everything Eddie says about vinyl.
You think I'm doing an hour on a treadmill?
Everything Eddie says on the radio.
Like, why did I do this? Why am I back with these 3 tools? Look at him. He's just shaking his head.
I was just thinking to myself, I'm glad I could be here for the last episode. I mean,
no, it's just like around. Don, I'm sure Corey and his friends have the same stupid arguments, right? Of course. You guys sit around and do the same stuff.
Or even worse.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, Don's a vinyl guy, so go ahead, Don.
Everything Eddie says on the radio about vinyl is 100% untrue.
Wrong.
It is the best sounding medium that there is. You can buy vinyl for as little as $1 if you can find an original pressing in a record store. It's not $60. There's no albums that cost $60. The package is amazing. And if you think about it, if you think of what's the one thing that brings the most joy to your life, if you're married and you have kids, that's probably what it is. Don't you go out of your way for your wife and kids? Don't they make you happy? Wouldn't you put a little extra work into pleasing them? Well, music is what makes me happy. So if I got to walk over and flip an album over, which, by the way, I was just listening to a record that had 7 songs on one side. It was 41 minutes. So I don't know where 2 songs on either side come from. But anyway, it's all a lie. Vinyl is the thing. It's got the most sales of physical products now. I listen to streaming as well. And if I like something on streaming, I will buy it on the vinyl. I haven't bought a CD in about 15 years, but I still have all my CDs in my collection. But the thing that rocks my world, I don't have kids, I don't do drugs, vinyl all the way.
Vinyl is the thing until the industry starts telling you how uncool it is and to rebuy your CDs that you just got rid of again.
So I never got rid of them. I never got rid of them from the 80s.
72nd time. Let's buy Back in Black for the 55th time and figure out them once. Let's bring back mini discs and DATs.
No,
I'm going to go on a limb and say that 8-tracks are coming back.
There you go. Why not? They are actually.
You can get that giant, like right in the middle of the tune, and you're just like, "What the hell was that?"
And then it switches over halfway through the song. It switches to track 2.
No joke. Cassettes are coming back, Corey. I wouldn't be surprised if CMFT is done on cassette.
It probably will be, to be honest. I mean, I know that I know that we wanted to time the release with the physical, which meant waiting in line for the vinyl pressings because all of the bigwigs and their infinite wisdom destroyed all of their vinyl pressers. So there's only like a handful that really do it now. But I do know that I believe some tapes are going to be made, which would be rad, dude. I still have so many of my tapes. You know what? The weirdest tape I have is the Macho Man Randy Savage hip hop album, Be a Man. It's amazing. It's
on
one
8-track?
of the dumbest I've ever owned.
No, cassette.
I love it with so much of my heart. I can't tell you.
Hey, we'll close on this. So this band that we all love right above my shoulder over here, Cheap Trick.
Yes.
About 10 years ago, maybe longer, they put out an album called The Latest, and they released it on 8-track like 10 years ago. I have it. And I said to those guys, why on earth would you release an album on 8-track? And they said, so we in our first week could say we were the #1 selling something.
That's great.
How awesome is that?
we need CMF2 on 8-track.
8-track, Corey, do it. Tell BMG.
I'm going to call BMG right now. It's going to happen.
And save me a vinyl. Save me a vinyl.
Save me a CD.
Okay, I
Save
got
me a CD.
Corey, thanks, man. I
Thank
appreciate
you,
it.
man.
The new
Thank you so
album's
much
out.
for doing this.
New album's out September 15th. The single's #1 rock radio right now. Get it, pre-order it, get it on CD, vinyl.
And Corey will be live with me on my Sirius XM show tomorrow from here in Vegas. So everybody listen to us repeat everything we just did. And you and I can correct all the wrong things Don and Jim said on the radio tomorrow.
And we listen, and we can talk over each other by ourselves. Thank you very much.
Exactly.
We're going to call in.
Turn at us, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys.
Thank you, buddy.
You guys take it easy. I'll see you soon. All right.